for, I was going to say February, it's April 26th to order. If you'd all please rise and join me in saluting the flag this evening. Behind me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Vice President Ferryman.
Please bow your heads and join me in praising our Lord. Lord, give us the strength and the fortitude to make good decisions for our taxpayers, and may everybody be safe. Thank you.
Thanks. Good job. Madam Clerk, the roll call, please.
Director Arthur Perry.
Here.
Secretary Arlene Schaefer.
Present.
Vice President James Fairman.
Present.
And President Michael Schaefer.
Here. Let the record reflect that Assistant Secretary Uten is not with us this evening. He has other commitments, correct? Thank you. Late communications, Scott?
None, Mr. President.
No ceremonial matters?
No, Mr. President.
And public comments, this is the time set aside for persons in the audience to make comments on items not on the agenda that are the subject matter of the Costa Mesa Sanitary District. Anyone from the public wishing to speak? Seeing no one jumping up, we will close public comments and go to the consent calendar.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with one absence. Okay. No public hearings this evening, so Scott, fresh off jury duty, your civic duty, congratulations and thank you for your service.
Thank you. Good experience.
I'm sure it was. Go ahead, Scott.
So I believe there's a request to move item number 7 up to
Thank
number
you.
1.
Yeah, thank you, I forgot. So we're going to move item 7, considering appointing applicants to the Citizens Advisory Committee, up to the front, because we have at least one of the applicants here, and we don't want him to have to stick around and listen to him snore after we get past this item. So,
I want to come and watch it.
there you go. Scott?
I'm going to turn this over to Gina Terriano to give this report.
Gina, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President and members of the board. Item 7 is the consideration of appointing applicants for the Citizens Advisory Committee. The district had received a total of 11 applications for the committee, all of which are attached to the staff report. We had one of the applications retracted today, and that was the application for Teresa Drain. So now we have a total of 10 applicants. And 10 of the applications were presented to the board at the study session on April 10th. And then we received an additional application from Shane Smith on April 13th. For the public's knowledge, the Citizens Advisory Committee intends to provide an opportunity for the district's residents to learn about the district, to meet and discuss district matters, and to provide recommendations to the board of directors. The committee can hold up to 11 members, and 6 members is going to constitute a quorum for the committee. Today, the board of directors is being asked to nominate and approve committee members based on the applications received. As stated in the administrative policy, each board member must nominate at least one applicant for the committee, but each board member can nominate 2 to 3, since we do have 10 applications and up to 11 spots for the committee. I provided a list of applicant names to each of the board members at the dais. There's also copies available for the public. And lastly, staff is seeking direction regarding board representation on the committee. The committee handbook states that the president shall designate one member of the board of directors to serve 1 year as a non-voting liaison to the committee. So staff is looking for direction on whether the board would like to go ahead with this, or if you would like a different arrangement for representation on the committee. So that concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Gina. We had talked at the study session, and the fact that we'd asked for an 11-member board and the procedure called for each one of us to nominate up to 3. And I guess I'd ask Alan this as well. Is there anything preventing us from just approving the whole slate since we didn't have enough? Can we do that instead of having to nominate, go through that process?
Yes, I don't know any reason why you would not do that.
Okay. And then the second part of the question, Gina, I know we had talked about a year appointment for a board member. We can change that to like a rotating thing where we anticipate the committee's going to meet quarterly, I think, right?
I think, first off, it's probably meeting monthly, only because of some issues that have come up.
Yeah, okay.
So it'll probably be monthly for a while, then it might tailor back, then it'll tailor back to quarterly probably.
Okay. But we could rotate instead of saying this one board member is going to be a year. We could say, I understand the idea of wanting to have one right now to get things going, and that's probably what we should do. But I think maybe in 6 months we could talk about changing that.
Yeah, we'll just have to.
Have an alternate.
Well, yeah, I think we definitely need an alternate because there are.
Right, we would just have to change the guidebooks, but right now that's what it says, and so our recommendation is to follow those guidelines, and we can bring it back and change it.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no vested right or right to the position, so you can change things you will.
Okay. You had a question?
No, I just had the,
I think at the study session, I suggest maybe make it a 2-person ad hoc committee and have one serve for a year and one serve for 6 months. So the next person coming in serves the last 6 months or for a year, and he'll continue to take over when the one member is off. I thought it'd be, that way he would have basic knowledge of what's happened and what will happen in the future.
Yeah, and I think Scott makes,
Yeah, we can change that later, but
I think Scott makes a really good point because of the issues with the districting and thing, and that's going to be the main focus as we had discussed prior to getting the letter from the attorney. I think that's. I
think that would be a good idea. We can change that later,
Sure.
But that would be a suggestion I would make to you.
I just wanted to comment that, we have all read the resumes on everybody, so I don't think there's a need for everybody to, go 1 or 2 or 3 to nominate, that we could do it all at once, because we all felt comfortable at the study session, the way we did it. Yeah.
The other question I had in my mind is, in reading the applications, quite a few of them are still employed, it looks like. There's a lot of old retired people that have applied as well. But the ones where, are we anticipating these meetings being during the day? Or are you going to let the committee work that out? Okay, so they could meet in the evening if the committee decided.
Right, we want to be flexible to them, so like in the first meeting, we would advise what works best for them and have them set the time they want to meet.
And do you anticipate at that first meeting taking like nominating a chairman and doing all that
Absolutely.
stuff for sure, right?
Yes, it's in the guidelines, yes.
Yeah, the first meeting maybe should be at night, though, just to make sure everybody can attend.
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion, any other questions for staff?
Just have one question. Were they all noticed that tonight we were going to have it on the agenda?
Yes, we sent emails based on what they provided on their application to let them know.
Okay.
Okay. Any,
I'll make a motion that we approve the slate as presented, minus
Second.
Teresa Drain.
I'll second it.
before we take a vote, thank you for being here. I appreciate you taking the time to be here, Phil. And I think as we send out something to them, letting them know they're on the committee, I think it's pretty unanimous that we all appreciate. This is going to take a little bit of time, especially with some issues we've got. And for folks to step forward and do this, I think we need to really let them know how much the 5 of us, appreciate them doing that. So, and I'm putting words in your mouth, I'm sure, Gina, because you do a great job with that. But okay, so then we have a motion to approve the slate for the Citizens Advisory Committee minus Teresa Drain. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries 4-0 with 1 absence. And congratulations, Mr. Marsh. We look forward to your input.
Can I ask Mr. Marsh a question? Would it be better for you at nighttime, Phil, like a,
For me, I'm one of the old retired people.
I didn't mean to use the word old, that was a slip.
I can do it anytime.
I was just thinking,
Actually, nights would probably work better.
it'd probably work better. We could do it on like a Thursday night that we don't meet or something like that.
Yeah, I know city liaison committees all tend to meet at night.
Do they?
Yeah.
Because some people, like we said, some people are working, and it'd be difficult for them to leave work.
Could I possibly get the names of the others?
Yeah, there's a copy. As you,
is it?
yeah, there's a copy over there. You can grab one now.
You know, 2 or 3 of them.
There's a couple members that you know. There's some that I don't know, but it looks like a pretty good list.
I don't know about you, but I was really pleased with all the applicants and all their
Mike
qualifications.
McElroy is one of them.
I think we're gonna have a very astute committee. I think they're gonna be really good.
It just,
Quick question. Out of curiosity, do we have, if they do not attend, in other words, so many absences, then they're automatically off the committee?
Yes, there are procedures in the guidelines.
Okay.
I don't have them off the top of my head, but there are in the guidelines if they miss.
It's 3. Didn't I read 3 meetings, consecutive meetings or something?
yeah, and they have to attend at least one board meeting, so that's one of the requirements
When do you anticipate having the first meeting?
in May.
In May?
Sooner the better. All right, that concludes item 7. So we'll go, only if you'd like it to be. All right, let's go to item 1 then. Scott, please.
Just to send Robbins right away.
Thank you.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is just a receive and file report. It's just a progress report, a quarterly progress report on the progress staff is making to achieving the strategic goals in the 2015-20 strategic plan. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Scott on the update? Okay, we will receive and file. Item 2.
Thank you, Mr. President. Steve Hodges will be giving this report.
Mr. Hodges, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I'm pretty excited to present. It's my first quarter under my belt, and I have some good news to share with you guys. So we'll start with the solid waste fund. We'll go over a couple specifics, and then I'll get to the meat of it. Gina has thrown it up on the board for us to see. Hopefully this laser pointer we can actually see it better. That's all right. It's okay. So the first highlight up there you see in benefits, it's just pointing out, if you guys remember, we paid off our pension liability last year. So it looks like our wages and benefits have gone down in spending, but it was just because we had that big bubble payment last year. But we are projected to finish under budget for personnel. And actually for the entire solid waste budget, we're projecting to be 4%, have a 4% surplus, which will be very important, which I will show coming up here in a second. Professional services, we're showing we are going to be under by about $35,000. A big reason for that is we set aside money for the Mesa water issue for public relations that we haven't touched, so we have surplus there. I want to bring your attention to the organics. We're going to have a significant savings there. In the last quarter, we're trending down 19% compared to last year, and we're down for the year. So we are going to have 6-figure savings there, which again helps us. For public outreach and education, even though we are right on budget, I just wanted to remind everyone that we did get $13,000 worth of grant funding to go towards that program. So not all of the $49,000 came from assessments. We did get some grant funding. And then down to the Sharps program, even though we lost Stevens Pharmacy, we just in February put that big box out front here at headquarters, so hopefully we'll make up some of the volume. So we're going to finish a little under budget, but next year I think we'll pick up. And then one thing that's not highlighted on here that we just cut the checks for today is the battery recycling program. And I'm showing that with a 0 variance, but we're actually going to have some savings there as well. And then I put a handout on each of your desks. It's also attached, but it goes over projections. So the first page is what was presented. It's not on the board. What was presented in the budget, and it shows that we were projecting to have a deficit in 2020 based on staff's estimates. If you plug in the actuals, so if you flip over to page 2, if you plug in the actuals from FY17, project going forward based on that, we're not showing a deficit at least until FY21, and that's extremely conservative. If you look at the revenue estimates, we're showing it at FY16 levels, but right now we're on pace revenue-wise to equal exactly what we were at last year. So if you project that forward, that will buy us an additional year, and that means we're looking at FY22 for a potential rate increase. And then another thing I wanted to point out is even though on the projections we left revenue flat, I did increase expenses every year just to be ultra conservative to show that we are sustainable for the next couple of years. I know it was originally talked about that we were going to have a rate study coming up here in the next year or two, but based on the actuals from FY17 and where we're trending for FY18, I don't think that's going to be necessary. And then the third page, just throw something out there as a topic that we can discuss as we get closer to needing to do a rate increase is right now we have reserves at 30%. I believe in 2015 you guys increased them from 10% to 30%. If we were to drop that down to 25% where we are with wastewater, that would give us more additional time as far as having to go out for a rate study and potentially increase rates. So that was the good news as far as solid waste. We're looking pretty solid financially, and we have several more years before we would need to go out and increase rates.
What do you think about the idea of still having a rate study and then not have a big raise in 2022 and have a small raise? Remember we talked about having a small raise incrementally going up to 22, so it's not going to be a dramatic hit on the taxpayers? Just a thought. You know, we have talked about that.
I think that's worth pursuing. I mean, there's got to be something else in this budget that we can, examine to be sustainable.
Yeah, just a thought for you to kick around.
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
And then moving on to wastewater, which we'll have up on the board.
We'll go to wastewater again. We're at a 30% reserve level now.
Correct.
Are you recommending that we go to a 25?
If we go to 25%, it's not going to hurt us. It takes us basically from having 1 million, which I'll say 1.8 million in our savings account down to 1.6 in our savings account.
Okay.
So we should be fine there. Up till 2015, we only operated at a 15% level. So we're still going to be above where we have been historically.
It'll take board action, right?
Yeah.
To move from 30 back to, or down to 25.
Correct.
Are you going to bring that to us?
A year from today, I'll bring you the same sort of projections to show where we're at, and we have another fiscal year worth of data in, because we wouldn't need to do that for several years.
Okay. So we're going to stay at the 30% until at least another year or two?
Correct.
Okay, I got it.
Pretty wise, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. When do we start, from the organic standpoint, when do we start looking at the increased charges for CRNR for organics, or are those already built into this?
We don't have the contract yet, do we, Scott?
Yeah, that was going to be kind of the follow-up is, are you anticipating changes with the CRNR contract? We're going to have to make some adjustments in here, or is that already?
Are you talking about CPI adjustments for them?
Whatever, with the new contract.
Well, the CPI adjustments, they can come back and request a CPI adjustment, but it has to be contingent on your approval. So we did not put that in considerations right at this point.
That makes sense then.
And for this, just FYI, it wouldn't take effect also basically another year and a half. So we'll be in arrears.
Good. Any other questions on the solid waste?
Good.
Wastewater.
All right, wastewater, again, is projecting to be under budget, have a surplus of about 10%. There's a variety of reasons for that. Again, pointing out the benefits, we made a large payment last year to pay off our first liability, so that's why it looks like there's a decrease in spending. But just wanted to point that out. Professional services, we had money set aside for a fee study. Sewer master plan, actually, sorry. Sewer master plan was budgeted that we haven't got to yet. So that's why it's showing the sources of funds. I'm imagining that we'll want to carry that funding over to next budget cycle. If you look at, I have highlighted the plan check and inspections. And the reason why I have that highlighted is we've gone through an internal fee study for the upfront counter as far as our fees. And we're going to submit a request to the BIA in the next couple of weeks to revise our fees. I would say 60-70% of them are going down significantly based on efficiencies that we have, front counter, and then a couple of our fees will be going up minimally, but we haven't done anything with them since 2010, and we're not projecting that it's going to have an increase in revenue. It's just going to be more equitable based on the efficiencies that we have.
It's good.
Contract services, we have $21,500 set aside for the 6-month restroom that we haven't touched yet. So I just wanted to point that out. That's why it's showing a surplus, because we haven't got to that yet. And then at the very bottom, we have $71,000 contingency that is available if there's something that comes up that you guys feel is necessary. And then the very last thing I have, we showed $2 million being spent in capital outlay. A big chunk of that was for the purchase of the Fairview yard, to expand the yard. So it looks like we spent a lot of money this year, but that was a big part of it.
On the sewer lateral program, since we're now in a different program, is the televising sewer lines, did that replace the sewer lateral?
It did. And the CCTV, the sewer lateral, we are only doing about half the volume that we had projected during the budget season. So I don't know if we're going to want to revise that from next budget cycle, but we're only seeing about half of what we expected.
I think that's one we ought to talk about to see if, are we not getting the word out enough, or people just not responding? I mean, somewhere into the next budget cycle, I think I'd like to see some discussion on what we're doing with that. Maybe we're not getting the word out enough. Maybe the plumbers don't want the word to get out in some cases, but I think it's something we should have some discussion about.
We had something in the newsletter too.
I know.
We may want to consider possibly going back to the old way we did it, just a thought.
I think that should be on the table.
Discussion, yeah.
Yeah, but don't forget, by 2020, we gotta be down to, 70, or up to 75%.
I'm talking about the sewer, the sewer
Oh,
lateral,
yeah.
going back to the sewer lateral
Oh,
program
yeah.
we had, that we helped pay for the half the cost. Just a thought,
That's right.
if we're not reaching the citizens this way.
Yeah,
It's a study session item, I think, that, you may want to bring back.
I mean, if you think about it, that with the plumbers, that doing the television keeps them from getting work, whereas the sewer lateral was really adding to their work. I mean, so that you wonder if that isn't part of the conversation with the plumbers, is you're just not telling people about the proactive approach instead of the reactive approach to it.
Just a thought.
That might be an article that we could put on our advisory committee.
That's and see what they. Okay. All right. Sorry, go ahead.
That's all I got, so I'm open to any questions you guys may have.
I have a question, but it's not about the budget. It's about, the building that's going on 17th Street across from Trader Joe's. Is that Costa Mesa, right?
Yeah.
And all those new there's must be 1,000 or 2,000 units in there. Are we going to be collecting trash for that?
Off the top of my head.
Well, not really, because we collect trash for the other ones over on Placentia.
I believe we will be collecting trash there.
That's right.
What street on it?
17th. There's probably going to be 50 of those units.
17th in Pomona.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And all the way to,
It goes from Pomona to Superior. I mean,
yeah,
that whole,
yeah.
that whole block.
I will find
Have
out
you,
exactly
have you
that.
seen that, Scott?
No, I have not.
It's massive.
Yeah.
Wendy, I believe Wendy worked on the site plan for where the containers are located
Okay.
for the trash collection program.
Yeah, because those are, most of them are like 4-unit sections, I think, you know, a lot of 4-unit sections, 3-story high,
Yes, they're
3 or
high.
4-story high. But who represents us at the city now for those discussions about the, you know, the things going in, like Wendy did?
Steve does, and Bao goes to those too as well, our engineering technician. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. I do the sewer, and I go there when it's appropriate. A lot of times I don't go to the meeting because meetings are short and there's really no discussion unless it's a controversial project. So I represent us for the sewer, and either Bao or Steve go as Wendy used to go, so they inherited that.
So they know that we want to make sure we have access,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Yeah, we send it to CRNR too as well, we'll get their comments.
Okay, okay, sounds good. But if you get a chance, you ought to look at those, Scott. It's really
Yeah, I got a
massive.
note on it, I'll get back to you on that, yes.
Well, I'm worried about the traffic problem it's going to create.
No kidding, it's gonna cause,
Oh, massive.
you won't be able to go to Trader Joe's. You'll have to go to Huntington Beach to go to Trader Joe's. I had it's not really a budget question, but it prompted me. We were talking the pharmaceutical program. I saw on Facebook that the fire department is doing a pharmaceutical collection this week or next week. Do we coordinate anything with them, or is that all? That's just on them.
Are you
right?
sure it's fire department, not police department? Usually the police department gets,
I'm sorry, it was police
yeah,
department.
because they usually get a grant, and they'll do it once a year,
Yeah.
you know.
They don't coordinate with us, so we don't get any credit for any of that stuff. Darn.
Then,
I'm starting to think like you.
It's
I
really
got one other question. How, our collection system here for the Sharps, are we getting any at all? Are we? Just
The Sharps, on the
Yeah.
Sharps program?
Yeah.
I don't know, I haven't checked the box. Do you know, Gina?
I'm just curious.
Are you? Yeah.
Okay, okay. Okay, good.
Thank you, Steve. Good job. Appreciate it. Getting better at this. Not that you were bad before. Not a big a Padre fan. I had to dig you a little bit. All right, Scott, item 3.
Yeah, Steve will be giving this report too.
Thank you, Mr. President and members of the board. I gave a short presentation last time on the cost of living, and I'm going to just elaborate a little bit more about it and take a step back at the broader picture. The primary reasons behind the cost of living is fuel went up 15% and housing went up about 4%. So all of our staff is affected by the major drivers behind the COLA at 3.6%. And then just to share from a job market perspective, we know we had the Great Recession where there was that 6 to 8 years of non-hiring, and it caused people to work longer. And what that has done, especially in the government sector, is it's left a gap of people being developed to take on that next step. So with unemployment at the lowest levels it's been in a long time, there's a lot of competition out there for qualified people because you don't have many job openings and there was that gap. So I personally believe it's important that we keep up with the cost of living so that we keep our very good staff that we have and don't lose them to competition around us. And as you saw from the budget quarterly update, we do have the funding. We have surplus in both funds, and we're looking very good from a financial perspective.
I'll move for approval for the 3.6.
I got a question.
Actually, before you vote, could we have that recommendation come from the general manager, which Steve just said, as opposed to coming from Steve?
Sure. Yeah, I concur with Steve that the 3.6% COLA, we can absorb that in our budget, and as you mentioned, cost of living's going up, so 3.6% is appropriate.
Do they get another bump though?
A merit increase?
Right.
Yes, they can. Staff can get a merit increase based on their performance, anywhere from a 2% to a 5%.
That's gonna be hard to make sustainable as far as I'm concerned.
Well, we are
Pay attention.
going to be, the board set a policy to have competitive wages. Also, we don't want to be on the top. That puts a little bit of a target on our back. But we want to be competitive. And so next year, I think we have a survey classification study, so we can determine where we are, where we stand with other agencies as far as compensation goes.
Sounds fair.
I had a question. Remember we talked earlier today about the indexes and the geographic. So
It's in there.
and I was wrong when I said Long Beach, Orange County.
Yeah.
It's always been, at least in my careers with my company, we've always used the LA, Long Beach, Anaheim. But if you look at the employee handbook, it says Orange, Los Angeles, and Riverside counties.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So we need to change the employee handbook if we're going to be consistent with the Long Beach, Anaheim, and LA.
And Diana does have those changes because the Riverside one actually went away as of January 1st.
Who did it?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So they divided it up into two different ones.
Okay.
So she has those changes.
Okay, I just personally don't feel it's fair for our employees to be subjected to the Riverside County one, because it'll tend to be lower. Over the years, I've seen that with some of my stuff, so as long as we're working on getting the handbook updated, then I'm okay. Okay, so we have a motion for the 3.6 and a second.
And I had a comment.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that we are so fortunate to have the staff that we have. And, I sit on a board up in Sacramento that you all know, and so I can see all the agencies, the way they operate, and we're outstanding, between the manager, between the whole staff. We're just very fortunate. So, and we want to keep it that way. That's all.
Do we have any public comment on this at all?
No, I have no cards.
Until we vote? I mean,
I have no cards or anything. So.
okay.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I will call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. That motion carries. Unanimous 4-0 with one absence. Thank you for your all of you guys, and your hard work on this. I know it's gone back and forth, so thank you. And don't spend it all in one place. Okay, let's go to item 4.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be giving this report. This is consider being a sponsor for the City of Costa Mesa's Mayor Celebration, the Art of Leadership. This is the sixth consecutive year the Costa Mesa Chamber of Commerce and the Segerstrom Center for the Arts and South Coast Metro is sponsoring this event. We have participated in the past, but not all 6 times. I think we've done it 3 times. 2013, 2014, 2017. So most recently was last year, and all 3 times we were bronze sponsors. The money is supposed to be going to raise to support and provide visual and performing arts education programs to Costa Mesa high schools. As mentioned, we've been bronze sponsor the past 3 times, not the past 3 times, but last year, and we did it in 2013-14, and that is $2,500. And with that, on the staff report, it identifies what you get with that $2,500, which includes 6 tickets, our company name on invitation, event program, post-event, a thank you card, listed in the media releases, introduction at the event, name, event sponsor, and recognized on Costa Mesa Chamber and the cities and the South Coast Metro websites. If you want to consider, I'm just trying to get my, it's not working. There we go. If you want to consider sponsoring, as I remember, as part of your policy, you need to establish the purpose CMD is trying to serve as a sponsor of the Mayor Celebration Art of Leadership, and then you need to describe how that expenditure will advance CMD's purpose. And so if you can do that, then consider being a bronze sponsor for $2,500. And if that's board approved, then we will let them know and go from there. So.
Comment.
Okay. First of all, I'm in favor of us doing this for the simple reason that we're showing good faith to the city. We've done a lot of projects with them. With the chamber, we're always there as a booth on different things that go on. And I feel that educational-wise, that we get our name out there PR-wise, and I just feel very strong about, us being part of the city. We've been part of it all this time, and then we go to like concert in the park, all the different items that come up, even the fish fry, we've got their ear for that. And I just feel it's extremely important for us to keep that this way, and for us to be out there with our name and with the money spent for Six. And as far as worrying about that we have enough people that want to go, I think that we should take a poll of who can go, because it starts the 17th. But then after that, we could ask some of the staff if they want to go too. And I know our manager goes too. So.
You listed the amenities that we get. Did we receive those last year? I don't believe we did.
To be 100% sure.
That was my main concern. We did not. And what's going to say that they're not going to do that for us this year? That's why I always vote no.
Well,
But-
And the board will want to remember when it makes its motion, if it does decide to support this, it has to advance our
Right.
purpose in some way. It has to be a message, something we're advancing, or why we exist,
Right.
as opposed to just being on the team with the city. So we need to have a.
That's my point. I don't think we're addressing
I
anything.
know last year, Scott was there, I was there, Arlene was there. I don't know how this is going to sound, but I'm going to say it anyway. They didn't even acknowledge the fact that they introduced Arlene as a former mayor, which is she well deserved. But not once did they mention anything about members of the sanitary district being at that meeting, and that was very disappointing. I didn't see anything tangible at that meeting, and I kind of have a mixed feeling about this, because the people they're giving awards to are all people that are unbelievably part of Costa Mesa. Dave Snowden, the Orsini family. But I didn't see anything last year at that meeting that really met what Alan is telling us, unfortunately. I mean, just being in a program saying sponsored by the Costa Mesa Sanitary District isn't enough, as far as I'm concerned. So, Rob?
I just wanted to say that at our level, the construction level, and we submit plans to them and all, we have a great relationship. The city engineer, director of public services, all of engineering, and our crews work great together. And even in the planning department, they work with us very well. So at our level, we have a superlative relationship. It's very nice.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think we do have a good relationship with the city, and we have a really good relationship with the chamber. I mean, we've got two people sitting up here that were so instrumental in making the chamber so effective over the years. And I don't mind supporting the chamber, but at this event, I just don't see us meeting the purpose that Alan's.
well, we're looking to them to be half of us for the homeless, for the porta potties and so forth. And, to me, that's part of our participation in everything we're doing. So,
I think we need to communicate our expectations to them. If they're not getting fulfilled,
we will.
we need to say, hey,
Yeah.
this is our understanding.
Yeah.
If this isn't what it is, we're gonna pass.
I don't say that. I say everything but the latter.
In terms of your request to poll the board to see who can, I know I definitely can't be there because I'll be at the Lions District Convention starting that same day. Art,
Is that May 17th?
it's a Wednesday
Yeah,
night.
17.
I have a golf banquet that night, May 17th.
Well, this has got to be in. We got to make a decision tonight.
Well, again, you've got to identify what's the purpose. How is going to advance the mission? And we're not hearing that at this point. So you got to find that out.
Well, another thing we're doing for the city, and people are feeding back to me about it, is the pump stations. Doing this historical type, they just love that. And that's just part of through the city.
But I just think we're not
this event, we're not getting.
We're not getting it at
what we're
this
supposed to.
event.
That's
That
the
is the
problem.
price.
It's not,
That's
we
the
love the
problem.
city. It's just we're not getting our money's worth from what they listed as a $2,500 member. But that's just me, because I always vote no on it.
Any other
It's based
discussion?
on the prior year, you know.
Yeah. Is there other discussion on that?
Jim, what do you think?
Well, we have to make a decision tonight, right?
It's in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I guess we would. We could always back off a little bit on the base amount of what we commit to. You know, go 350 instead of 500 or something.
It's 25.
2,500.
Oh, 25, yeah.
Well, regardless of the amount we give them, to
Still
me,
has-
it
yeah.
still doesn't meet Alan's requirement. What Alan's pointed out to us is,
But after all I said, it still doesn't
No.
meet
Yeah,
what Alan
we're-
said.
We agree with what you said.
we agree with what you say. I think we
Just
all
for
agree.
this event, we have to have a criteria that meets our expectations.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, even if we put up a banner like we do at the football stadiums promoting our cause, we obviously don't do that here. I mean, we don't get anything for this,
Were they
other
allowed
than goodwill.
to put an insert in their program or something, saying something about the advantage program?
Their program, it was simply nothing more than a foldout that showed who the recipients of the awards were. That program, I don't remember it even listing the sponsors.
Yeah,
It
on
was
the
just-
back is leadership. It shows the back.
Is this last year's?
No, this year.
That's the advertisement for it. That's not the program.
No, this isn't the program, but
Yeah.
this is our invitation.
Right. Lisa Waters listed, but we're not.
Sure, I know.
Well, why don't we commit to $2,000? I mean, you know, and tell them why. That would serve our point, and
I'd be glad to talk to Tom.
What are the different categories, Mike? But they still have
There
to
is
serve
a-
the purpose.
Well, the categories are in your staff report,
Yeah.
and I think,
If I may,
Yes, go ahead, Scott.
the suggestion of $2,000, they'll be glad to take our money, but for $2,000, it doesn't comply with the guide. They're not going to at least say what they're going to say. I don't think there was room to negotiate here. It's either you got to follow
the
the
lowest sponsorship level they have is $2,500.
right.
I think the other things we do through the chamber and through the city, we at least get the bang we're looking for. This one dinner, and I know I voted against it the last couple of years, we don't get anything. And having gone to it last year and being so disappointed in them not even acknowledging that we were there, kind of soured me a little bit.
Well, I have to go as former mayor. I do.
Yeah, and you deserve the recognition. You've worked so hard at this stuff, and you deserve that. But they're doing this more to promote the arts and things, and that's just doesn't fit with our purpose as far as I'm concerned.
No, our arts
call
are-
for the question.
Okay, what is the motion?
The motion is, didn't somebody make a motion?
No.
Oh. I move that we decline participation in that event.
We have a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion?
It's still gonna go.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No,
Vote is 3-1, with one absence to decline the invitation. Okay. Let's go to item 5.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Actually, items 5 and 6, Gina Tirano will be giving us both reports.
Okay.
When you get to 6, though, I'm going to step out because I'm an employee of Estancia High School of somewhat.
Okay, thank you. So item 5 is a contribution program request from the Costa Mesa Community Run. This year, the Community Run is going to take place on Sunday, September 23rd, instead of its usual date in April due to environmental concerns at Fairview Park. But other than the change in date, the event program will remain more or less the same as previous years. The district has contributed to this event every year since 2013, and we've historically contributed at the bronze sponsorship level of $500, since this is the minimum amount that will get us a community booth at the event. The contribution application that they submitted is requesting either $500 or $1,000, and staff recommends continuing to contribute at the $500 level because the only difference between the $500 level and the $1,000 level are the number of complimentary run entries that they give us. So for $1,000, they'll give us 4. For $500, they'll give us 2. But typically the district doesn't use more than 2 of the free entries anyway, so it's not that much of a benefit to us to have 4. Both sponsorship levels do include having our name and logo on the race t-shirts, a link to our website on the event website. They'll include us in any media recognition that they get. This year they have the option of displaying a banner if we provide one. And then, of course, they also give us the free booth at the event.
Question, do we have a banner already that we've used in the past?
We don't. That's not something that they ever offered before, so
We could
if
have
we
one
wanna do
made.
that,
I think
yeah,
that'd probably be a good idea.
we could have one made and they'll put it up. So in order to sponsor this event, similar to the previous item, the board must establish the purpose the district is trying to serve by being a sponsor and describe how the sponsorship would advance the district's purpose. In previous years, the district has contributed to the community run for the purpose of increasing visibility and promoting the district's solid waste programs. We usually have CR&R present with a bale of aluminum cans, and we do a count the cans contest. So that does bring some people in to talk to us about our recycling programs. They also utilize CR&R's recycling containers at the event, and our logo is displayed in multiple places. Lastly, the proceeds from this event benefit Costa Mesa schools by providing supplemental books, science equipment, and other enrichment programs for students. And the application that they provided is attached to the staff report for you to review.
What's our plan for the booth this year? Just the things from CR&R, or are we going to provide something else?
We would do the same count the cans contest. This year, CR&R might have their own booth,
Okay.
but that'll be up
Okay,
to them
really?
if they do that. But we'll have our booth as well, where we have giveaways and things.
Where do they put the booths at? You remember?
It's usually in the back corner. They usually give us a corner spot so that we have extra room for the.
And is it in the stadium or the left side?
It's just outside the stadium to the left of as you go into the games.
Okay.
That area
Okay,
right in
that's
front
good.
of the tennis courts.
Because I know that they're going to be, for the fish fry, I know that we're going to be using their stage. That I think their event gets over like at 11. Is that correct?
Yes, 11:30 is usually when they end.
Okay. And I just wanted to see, hopefully it wasn't going to be in the Fairview Park. You know.
No, it's right where the race gets started.
Okay, sounds good.
Are they doing that Friday thing? They're not doing the Friday.
Not this year. The event is on a Sunday
That's
this
right,
year.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right.
I think that they're going to get a booth at the fish fry to hand out all of their information to the people running. I don't know if you knew that or not.
They haven't contacted me yet, but that's a
They
good
had talked
idea
to-
for
They
them.
had talked to Mr. Marsh about it, but they were going to use that'll bring people in to that event, and then they'll pass out their information.
Yeah, they've done that in the past, so that's a good idea.
So I think we can get a lot of stuff for the sanitary district that's going to be beneficial. And I think we can get a banner made. If you have a vendor, if you don't have one, I have one that you could possibly use.
Good.
I would make a motion to accept the Costa Mesa Community Run application for $500.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4-0 with 1 absence.
You know, based on all of Gina's
Yes.
representation too, you have that will advance the district's
Yeah.
purposes.
Item 6 then, Gina?
Step out.
Oh, hang on. Go ahead.
Art, should we identify that you're not stepping out for a legal reason? but
No,
because of
just
perceived
because,
conflict?
yeah, perceived conflict.
Yeah,
Because I'm still coach there, and I don't want to make a decision
it's
on
not
that.
a legally required.
No, but I think it'd be smart.
Doing it
Okay.
Proprietary.
Okay. So item 6 is another contribution program request, and this one is for the Estancia Football Boosters. They are requesting a contribution of $500 for a stadium banner at Jim Scott Stadium for the 2018-2019 school year. For the past 2 years, the district has contributed $500 per school year for a 3-foot by 5-foot banner promoting the organics recycling program. A picture of that banner is attached to the staff report. It's the same banner we've had for the last 2 years. And similarly to the last 2 reports, the board must establish the purpose they're trying to serve by being a sponsor and describe how the sponsorship would advance the district's purpose. In previous years, it was established that the banner increases district visibility since Jim Scott Stadium is a widely used sporting facility. The banner currently promotes the organics recycling program by encouraging residents to recycle their food and yard waste. The board can continue to sponsor the organics recycling program banner, or they can direct staff to create a new banner that promotes a different district program. The banner does cost $500 for the school year, or they also provided the option for an alternative sponsorship in the amount of either $100, $150, $250, or $500 to instead place an advertisement in their Football Boosters program. So if the board would like to have us advertise in the program instead of the banner, we can do that as well. I would just need direction on which program you'd like to advertise.
I don't know about you guys, but the banner gets us a lot more, yeah.
Yeah, I'm adamant about just having the banner.
Yeah.
I love the picture with the fish head. You know what I mean? Yeah, okay. Is that were you making a motion, Jim?
Yeah, I'll move the action,
I'll second it.
$500.
Or a banner?
Banner.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0 with 1 abstention and 1 absence. What's that?
And that was all based on
Gina's recommendation of what we're getting. Yeah.
And would you like us to continue with the organics program banner, or did you want a different program
If we
advertised?
got that banner, we ought to just keep using that one. Okay.
Someone needs to get Director Perry.
Someone needs to go wake up Art.
Snap out of it, Art.
Hear his name.
Heard my name.
Okay. Engineers report, Rob?
Thank you, Mr. President and members of the board. The first item is our monthly capital improvement projects report. Everything is continuing to move along. We're in design on the President Pump Station, the Canyon Force Main, and a few other things. And later in the agenda, we have the yard, which is nearing completion. That's a quick overview. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, it's not on your report so much, but the yard itself, you know, there's all those trees that are outside of it. Are we going to plan on pruning those or cleaning up that area? Is that in your game plan?
Yes, that's in the future. I think, yeah, that whole area does not look very good, that planting area. So it'd be nice to have it consistent with the yard, put in drought tolerant type of landscaping. But we need to get some costs. It's not budgeted, so we'd have to do that in the future and bring that back to you.
Good, because I think that would be important, because it kind of looks not that good right now.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Rob on the project status report? Okay. Item 2 then, Rob?
Thank you. 2183 Tustin Avenue, I signed a contract to be their engineer of record. It's a small 2-unit development, and I'm filing in accordance with our procedures.
I have a question. Is that going to change from a 2-unit to a multi-unit, more than 2?
It's really just going to make them saleable units. They're going to there's actually 1 unit there, and they're designing the second unit, and they may replace both, or they may just add 1. But it's only going to be 2 units at the most.
It's not one of those large lot?
No.
problems that they have at the city?
No, not at all. It's
Okay.
not, it will not be in the small lot ordinance.
Okay. That was my question.
It's receive and file.
Yes.
And corporate yard expansion.
Oh, thank you, Mr. President. So this is the yard we're talking about, and we have expended the contingency because of many items, the largest being that we, after the field crew found they couldn't exit the Fairview driveway without bottoming out, they wanted to switch to the Wilson side. So we did that, and right off the bat, that caused a domino effect of a bunch of change orders. Plus, the city inspector asked us to move some things here and there. Plus, we had to have special inspection, a deputy inspector. When you're doing foundations for certain things like the light pole and the fuel tank, you have to have a special inspector. And that we had to hire that person. So all of those things were covered in there. The last thing we're looking to do is install lettering of our name on the Fairview side of the project. And we're getting close to having a mock-up that I can give to Scott for review. But there is an attachment, if you'd like to see it real quickly, if Gina could open that. There, we're not going to have a sign like we do on the south side, which is our green sign. This will be more of lettering on the 8-foot-high block wall that's becoming a site wall. And there it is right there. Oh, that's the employee handbook.
Picture in here, I like the way that. I think that looks really good.
That will actually say district yard, not corporate yard. That was the contractor put this together. But it'll look something like that, but with black lettering. Black is easier to see and looks more professional. So I will have a mock-up that I will give to Scott, and if the directors want to comment, he can send it to you. But that's the last thing we're trying to fund.
I have a technical question.
Sure.
Costa Mesa Sanitary District is in caps and small letters, but district yard is in all caps. I just wondered why.
It's actually like that on the other sign.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
But actually, it says Costa Mesa Sanitary District, and with caps and small case. And then corporate yard is district yard is all in caps. So we're trying to follow that motif.
Okay. I don't know. I guess because I raised kids, I wondered why they did that. It's okay.
That's what.
Okay.
I got a question. Okay, talking about those trees, are you going to move it left? So it's not, because there's a lot of room on the left, the trees aren't blocking it?
Yeah, we're going to move it. We're going to make it appropriate to leave the trees or fix up the trees,
Right.
and fix the spacing just like that.
Okay,
that
good.
decision will be made out in the field.
Okay.
And would like to add to the recommended motion that in addition to appropriating the $7,500, that you also give the general manager authority to increase his ability to approve change orders to 10% plus the $7,500, so he can approve the change order when it comes in.
What's the change order going to be for?
The lettering,
Okay, just the lettering? Okay.
yes.
I'll make that motion, that give the manager the authority to,
So your Rob's recommendation.
yes.
It would be as the action is written on the agenda, and then at the end of it, add in plus increase the authority by $7,500.
Do you have that?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0 with one absence.
Thank you, board members.
Thanks, Rob. Good job.
Look good.
Are we
It's
going to
gonna
put the
look
bench out there, or is that just
No.
aesthetic?
Everyone gets carried away.
Is the bench going to be in caps or small caps? All right. Treasurer's report. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I know I'm
President Rosaror, we have nothing to report this month. Good to be here to see you.
See, is Mark off on another vacation?
No, he's actually traveling actually he's flying home today, so he wasn't sure if he would make it, so
That's
he'll
okay.
be up in the queue.
We'll let him off though. Okay, Alan, anything other than closed session?
Yes, actually, I, filing our reply brief to our Regional Water Quality Control Board fine appeal tomorrow. Deadline is Monday, so that will be the last bit of substantial work other than the oral argument for the Court of Appeals in that matter, and we will maybe bring it to closure then. Oral argument should be in a few months.
It was interesting in your correspondence to us about how they had changed some things.
Isn't that interesting? Little footnote.
After our case, they,
Yeah.
that was
And
interesting.
they tried to say that the change was a reaffirmation of what the policy was before. So they changed their rule so that it would be clear that that's what they meant before.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it kind of sounds the opposite of that.
Did you,
Like your kids blaming the dog, is that what you're getting?
is that part of your response?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very good. All right, special
You'll
meetings.
get, I'll send that to you, I'm sorry, I'll send that to you as soon as we get it filed.
Thank you. Thank you. Jim?
We had a meeting of the Orange County Sanitation District, and the most significant thing, and I won't get into specifics, but as you know, we're in the process of acquiring the properties across the street from our entrance, and we own two of them right now, and we're on a counter offer on the biggest one, and it was a couple of $1 million thicker or higher than we were willing to spend. So we had a heated review of it at the meeting, and lasted a long time, and a lot of things were brought up. But at the end of the day, it was a 10-10 tie. So we instructed the staff to go back and rework it and look at it on a broader scale, because we know that some of those numbers that they were giving us were just kind of pulled out of the hat, and we're trying to refine those before we go back and renegotiate. So it's a very large, almost 20 million. So it's a big deal.
Yeah.
But you know what? Everybody was civil about it. Nobody yelled at each other.
Nobody was called an idiot or a freaking idiot.
No, it was very professional. So that's all I have.
Thanks, Jimmy. Art?
There was no meeting for the SARFA tonight.
ISDOC, I attended the first part because I had to go to a meeting in San Diego of the ISDOC Executive Committee on the 3rd of April. And the hot topic with ISDOC continues to be dues. And for some reason, nobody can come up with an explanation of what we should be doing with dues. Our current president, I specifically asked him at the meeting, could you please give us the alternatives in a way that we can all understand them and have some, because the stuff we were given makes no sense at all. Plus, the type is about this big and you can't read it.
Yeah.
So the ad hoc committee that was formed is going to have another teleconference call to come up with other alternatives. So they also approved paying for a speaker who had come down, his expenses. And the last part that I was able to attend, I'll have Arlene fill in if I have any gaps. From ISDOC, Phil Anthony, Director Phil Anthony from the Water District, Orange County Water District, has been the OCOG representative. And nobody, apparently he's extremely ill,
He is.
and there's been no contact with him, so I will now be the ISDOC representative at the OCOG meetings.
I talked to Kathy, Green,
Today?
no,
Did you go to the meeting today, by the way, that board meeting?
no.
The OCOG board meeting?
Oh, yeah, I was there, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to make it, but I'll make the one. So, did I miss anything else that I missed?
Not really.
Yeah. The OCOG meetings are getting rather dry and lengthy, and I was also informed today by someone, or yesterday, that the president of ISDOC is not going to run for president next year.
Oh, really? I thought it was a 2-year term.
This is the end of his 2 years.
Was it okay?
So that's what I was told. So that means I'll finally not be the immediate past president. Okay,
Stay.
CSDA, Arlene?
Okay, let's see. First of all, need to get my calendar. Darn it. So, on CSDA, I was I was appointed to be AEC representative for 2 more years, along with the president of CSDA, which is Alliance
Harassment.
Executive Council. So I'll be on that.
You actually know the chairman of the AEC.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be me.
Yeah. So actually, Director Schaefer and Director Schaefer will be sent out. So, and then we did go to Monterey for the Advanced
Leadership Academy.
Leadership Conference. And I'm so happy to give you guys your certificates. We did something good. We got certificates. And so being that I was up at the board meeting just recently, and they said, gee, you will save us money if you turn around and just take
Do
it
you
with
keep
you."
those on file, or what do we do with those?
I can keep those for you.
Because do we get points for this, don't we, for
You
participation?
can see a few points.
So the leadership conference, I've got to tell you, was one of the most outstanding ones I've ever been to of that. It was really good, very worthwhile. And we were in the advanced portion of it. We weren't in the other portion because there are a lot of board members just getting on and trying to understand. So it was a little of everything with the Brown Act and about how you treat your manager and the performance of a manager. And it was at Seaside Hotel, and that was the most excellent place in the world. It was like having a suite of your own, each one. And they had about 148 people attend, so it was really a good turnout. And they were really just very good to us on giving us breaks and being able to go to all the procedures in the Brown Act. And so that was about it on that. And the 3 of us, directors, Perry and Ferryman and myself, went to it and attended it. And then on the board meeting,
Could I add something to that?
Sure.
We also went through sexual harassment again.
oh yeah,
We just did it like a couple months ago,
Yeah.
but we have a certificate for that also, but I think it's in my car, but we did it again. Because that was
Sorry,
part of
you
the program.
You don't get double credit.
I know, but I'm just saying, it changes the date that we did it, so.
so we
we
got it
good boys?
again. Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, we did get that. So we had all these certificates. Harassment one, they called it harassment. They didn't say sexual on that one, but it was the same thing. And yeah, so we had to sit through that anyway, and we're going, God, we all just finished doing this. It was so funny. So, yeah, that's good.
Okay.
And my board meeting that we just, up in CSDA, was like change suitcases and go back up there. It was a good one. And there's a lot of legislation going on right now. It's just full of it. And I'm going to start attending the Chamber of Commerce. It's a legislation meeting. They wanted me to, but it was always on a Thursday. And I couldn't because I'm always flying out. And so they changed it to Tuesday. So I can come.
Carry a lot of weight in that group, don't you?
I don't know. anyway, so I'm going to attend that one, so I'll be adding that to whatever goes on there. And that's about it.
SDRMA report, I had mentioned to all of you that our CEO, Greg Hall, resigned for personal reasons. So we've had several teleconference calls, and we had a special board meeting earlier in the month to talk about the plans for SDRMA. In terms of what's going to happen with the districts, there's no change. All the programs, everything, we've kind of divvied up the responsibilities to our four main chiefs, as we call them, the four department heads. They're going to be handling things with the board's help. We've already posted a replacement. We've already sent out an RFP for applicants. We're getting some help from some joint powers groups here in the state. So we're going to actively recruit and get someone in there as soon as possible because it's going to need it. We're anticipating. We're looking at either putting an interim in or hiring somebody in right away to replace Greg. So we have a board meeting next week. So we'll delve into that a little more. That's been the main focus of the SDRMA group. I also know that the district was given $1,000 for safety equipment through SDRMA.
Reimbursement.
Yeah, so congratulations for doing that. Last week, on behalf of SDRMA, I had the pleasure of attending the Risk Management Society annual conference in San Antonio, Texas, y'all, and confirmed to me that I probably don't ever want to live in San Antonio, but it was outstanding conference. I mean, these are risk managers from all over the world. It's a worldwide association. I picked up a lot of good things for the risk management part of my responsibilities. Keynote speaker that we had on Monday morning was a guy by the name of Alex Sheen. Probably the best keynote speaker I've ever attended in so many areas. This kid started a program called Because I Said I Would, and it's because of his father and some things, but he has we don't have time to go through everything, but he sends out cards to people to get them to commit to doing something simply because I said I would. And this kid was phenomenal. He was in jeans and a t-shirt, and there were 10,000 people at this conference. So, I mean, the whole place was just riveted listening to this kid.
Wow.
And yes, Jay Leno was our closing speaker.
Oh my gosh.
And he has a different brand of humor in person than he does on TV, let me tell you. I saw Larry the Cable Guy once in concert, and his whole thing is toilet humor. Jay Leno does a lot of toilet humor too, but it was really good. And it was a great conference. San Antonio is a terrific place to go, and I don't know if I talked to you, Alan, but the Alamo, you expect this big thing, and you walk around the corner and that's the Alamo? But we had some time my wife and I also had some time to drive over to the city of Austin. And that old adage about Austin, keep Austin weird, I don't know if you've ever heard that. Mm-hmm. That was one of the weirdest towns I've ever been to. It was different. And it was a good trip. I actually learned a couple of things that I'll be able to use with SDRMA, so it's a good week. Yeah, and finally on the last week, so Tuesday night I had tickets to the Red Sox and Angels game. And so I gave them to our general manager and his daughter to enjoy going. But I was able to take my wife to the San Antonio Missions AA minor league team. And it just happened to be AARP night.
Oh, really?
Right?
Oh, gee.
$2 parking, $2 tickets right behind home plate, $2 draft beers. So I didn't partake in the $2 draft beer because God only knows what $2 is going to buy you out of the tap. But it was great. It was really really a good trip.
You have to show them your card.
The guy says, "Do you have your card?" And I said, "I don't think so." And so I turned to Sandy. I said, "Do you have your card?" And she's flipping through her wallet. The guy goes, "Oh, there it is. Never mind." He gave us. $2 tickets. It was really, really nice.
What was the attendance?
For the ball game?
Yeah.
For $2 beer night?
Pat was packed.
No, it really wasn't packed. The Missions play at kind of out of San Antonio in kind of a rural area, right next to some big Air Force base. So all these jets were buzzing the field, you know. But there was probably 3,000, 4,000 people there.
Good.
So. Lackland, thank you. And these big giant airplanes were, I mean, the big, whatever they are. So, and we did go to the hotel that you told me about with Teddy Roosevelt's. But it was a good trip and actually a very, very informative trip. So. You had something else?
Yeah, I did. When you said that about the SDRMA, it dawned on me, SDRMA came to our meeting.
We did that on purpose.
Yeah.
And we as a CSDA board were very, very worried about where we're going to lose our relationship, or, I mean, we've come a long way and everything's been so good, and now, you know, who knows who the new one's coming in. So they reassured us, and it was nice that, you know, so many came. And
Yeah, Sandy and Bob were both.
yeah, they were there, and so was, who?
Ellen?
Ellen was there, naturally, yeah. So we had a good turnout, you know, of them, and we were wondering why they were sitting there, and then they got up and they talked to us about it, and
Yeah,
so. loved it.
CSDA is actually a tenant in our building, and we don't want to
Yeah,
change that
no,
relationship.
so, and then also on the part of the Monterey trip, I wrote this down because I thought it was so impressive. One of the speakers said, when a man or a woman assumes a public trust, they should consider themselves a public property. So, you know, that's important, yeah.
They don't have to pay taxes, it's no problem.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, at our board meeting, we were talking about the general manager's leadership summit, and our manager is going to be one of the speakers. That's a big thing. And our next newsletter that comes out from CSDA, he'll be in it with his picture and a write-up about him.
Did you know about that, Scott?
I just wanted to comment because that's a good feeling.
That's pretty good. That's real good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
You want to talk about Waco? Or?
Let's just see. I don't know if I
I
have the stuff.
didn't bring my notes from Waco.
Let me take a look and see.
I know several of us attended the Waco meeting.
Brandon Goshi, I think his name is. Let's see. Goshi, manager of the Water Policy and Strategy, Metropolitan Water District. He talked about, Jim can help me too, he talked about the California Water Fix. And Met is the water wholesaler. It serves water for sources of water for Southern California, Los Angeles aqueducts, water from Colorado River aqueducts, the Bay Delta. 60% of water coming from the Bay Delta goes to agriculture, which I didn't know was that high. I would figure it'd be a lot lower, but I can see that. More water from the Sacramento River is going to be up to 50%. Met would pick up 25.9% of the project cost. Let's see.
Well, you remember that morning he was talking about they hadn't decided on the 1 or 2 tunnel thing?
Yeah.
They voted for the 2.
Yeah.
And I think it was that afternoon they took a vote, and it was they're going with the 2
The
tunnel.
2
approach.
tunnels, east and west.
Yeah.
That's what they call them, east and west. East towards Stockton and west towards Southern California.
That's huge.
By the way, let the notes reflect that Assistant Secretary Uten has arrived at the meeting. We now have
And I think that's all the notes I took on that. Because the next part was he spoke pretty rapidly.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember anything else, John?
Well, the guy who spoke at a different event a week before, and it was the OCOG thing.
Yeah.
Up in Disney Hotel. This guy is brilliant. I mean, he's been with them for 25 years, and he knows everything there is to know about the water system in the state. So it was very enlightening, and he was right to the point. Very good.
Yeah, I thought he was a good speaker. He did go a little fast, but I thought
He did pretty
did a
fast.
good job.
I was surprised I could take notes.
Good at it. Okay, any other meetings to report? Okay, then we'll go to new business item number 1. Scott?
It's actually it's a new business, so it's regarding the LAFCO upcoming elections. So the regular seat and the alternate seat is up for re-elections, or up for elections. And in your packets are the bios for all the candidates on the regular seat, and then you have the bios for the alternate seat. And as you know, Assistant Secretary Uten is running as the alternate against board member Jim Fissler at Mesa Water. So tonight, staff's recommending the board give President Schaefer and Vice President Fairman direction on who to submit the nominees forms for regular and alternate seat.
We had gotten those previously. They're not in the staff report on the agenda.
Right, we have those forms. You just need to make a decision.
We've gotten the bios previously.
Yes,
When's the due date?
May 25th. So today,
For our next meeting then?
right? It's before. That's why. So today's got you got to make a decision tonight.
Do we want to make that decision tonight, or do you want to?
I would say make it tonight, because then that way the ballots can go in.
Yeah.
You want me to step out of the room?
No.
I make a motion for the alternate, this is called the alternate seat that Bob's running for, that Bob Uten is our representative that we vote for.
I'll second that. All right, any discussion? Sure. Any words of wisdom?
Do you have to sign that, or how does that work?
And if I can't do it, Jim.
Okay, are we doing that tonight, signing the ballot tonight, or are you gonna do that sometime in the?
You can,
I'll get with them.
Okay, okay, sounds good.
Okay, the motion is to direct myself and/or Jim to vote for Bob Uten for the alternate seat on LAFCO. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
well, can I vote? I vote yes, if I can vote. Yeah, I vote yes.
Why don't you abstain?
Oh, then I abstain.
Looks like it's gonna carry 4-0 with 1 abstention. For the regular seat, do we have a nomination?
I move Doug.
Dafford.
Yeah, Devitt.
I'll second it.
Discussion?
Didn't we have one of the members that dropped out,
Yeah, for Moulton.
El Toro, or?
No,
Hey,
from Molten
Well,
Gal.
yeah, okay.
The only thing I want to bring up about Doug, Doug is extremely well qualified. And he could do it. The problem I have with Doug is that he's made some disparaging remarks against Bob at some of the visitations.
Well, we all have.
Really?
Yeah, and Doug is pretty closely aligned with Mr. Fissler. They're pretty
He
tight.
says he's not. That's what he told me, because I asked him.
I know he'd made a comment, Bob had made a comment at one meeting, and when Doug got up to speak, he accused Bob of taking cheap shots at Fissler. And-
Well, but that was a cheap shot also, and I think, the board could recognize that.
Okay.
I think David is probably highly qualified.
Oh, I agree.
I think he's really good because he thinks like we do. He's been secretary to ISDOC. He's at our meetings.
He was the chairman of the Orange County Sand District the year after I was,
And for 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
So the motion is to vote for Doug Dabbert as the full seat. We had a motion by
Me.
Arlene, second by Jim. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Are you opposed to Dabbert?
I might be making marks about Bob. So I'm voting no.
Okay, so let me go back. So the motion is to vote for Doug Dabbert.
Yeah.
Second. Call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Motion carries 3-2.
You're against,
Hmm?
are you against him?
I voted
Oh,
for.
no, it was those two. Okay.
It's the West Side kids. Okay, then we'll get together and do that ballot. Okay, very good. At this point, any oral communications and any other director comments?
Arlene mentioned that she wanted to go to that thing for the mayor. Can we pay for her attendance? How does that work? As an individual?
We reimburse her as a chamber function, and she's representing us at a chamber function.
That would be my recommendation if we could do that.
We don't need a motion on that because it's a regular chamber thing.
Okay, she would just submit her expenses.
Submit the expenses,
Thank you.
or anybody else that wants to do that. Thank you, Art, that's.
I don't, maybe Bob doesn't know how we went on a
We
decision.
voted not to support the mayor's celebration. But if
We
you
did-
want to go to that,
We didn't last year,
yeah, we did last year.
or did we? Or we talked about not doing it anyway. When is it?
May 17th. Can you just let staff know, like right away, that you want to go?
No, I may be sworn in that day, so I'll be
Hope so.
a double honorable.
Any other director comments? Something Arlene said earlier about our staff. All 5 of us feel that way. I think I can say that unequivocally. We are, you know, Arlene and I see a lot of staffs being on the boards, and we are very fortunate to have all of you, and keep up the good work because we really appreciate it. Anything else? All right. But I'm going to adjourn us to closed session for 2 items. Public employee performance evaluation for the general manager, Government Code 54957, and then conference with legal counsel on existing litigation, Government Code 54956.9, CMSD versus Mesa Water. Okay, I'm going to reconvene the board meeting to open session and report that on both closed session items, public employee performance evaluation, the board has given the negotiator, me, direction to meet with Scott and negotiate terms of his evaluation. Does that sound right? That doesn't sound right.
That's good.
Is that okay? And then in the other item, Mesa Sanitary and Mesa Water, there's no reportable action on that item. And if there's nothing else, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you all.
Sounds good.